Come on, blue team, come on now. It's looking live out there, blue team. Let's play some defense now. Come on, D up. I don't care what you think about me, I'll be just fine. I don't care if your eyes ever see or you stay flying. I'm trying to be the light beneath the light, and I'm gonna try. Here we go. Now, I got something on my mind and it's been bothering me for some time. So now I'm gonna hear the deaf and see the blind, and hope I find the lesson to the message in my rhyme. You see, if I speak honestly or emphatically, and I say one little thing that's negative about the president, then automatically I gotta be a resident of the other side. Why? That's absurd. The left wing and right wing are on the same bird. Huh. Red team, blue team, we need a fucking new team. Donald J. Trump's part of the same old routine. Behavior. Trump is not Q. Q is not a savior. What the fuck's he gave you? Some clues? Kept you confused? Q is just a part of the illusion, the confusion, not the solution. If Q knows the truth, then why's he gotta hide it in a clue? So you stay undecided and more divided. I don't buy it. You know what I trust? I trust the pandemic. I don't care what you think about me, I'll be just fine. I don't care if your eyes ever see or you stay blind. I'm trying to be the light beneath the light, and I'm gonna try. Helter skelter, shelter in place. Social distancing is not enough space for these noble moguls to piss in our face. It's a disgrace. Nobody fights back, nobody bites back, and once they're gone, no, we ain't getting our rights back. Why is that? Cause we acted like a bunch of soft bitches. Call up the cops if your neighbor got a cough, stitches, wind up in ditches. I hope I get to smell these Hollywood witches when they burning in hell. But right now I can tell we still under the spell. We fell. If you don't take pause and recognize your cause, they're coming for your balls. Red flag laws, government teeth and claws. I don't want my taxes paying for no fucking vaxes that they fast track. Cue up the laugh track, grab you up a knapsack and some provisions, because we got some decisions to make about our future of our nation and what we're facing. Contact tracing, legal interrogation, one PlayStation under God, indivisible with liberty and justice for none. Have they won? No, not yet, but they're close to completing the lobotomy. With precision into scalpels of division, they make the incision the false dichotomy. And it's gotten me feeling animosity toward the aristocracy. I want the blood of the royal elite to flood the street and irrigate the field. How dare you motherfucking pigs bang on your shields? Nobody died when Kaepernick kneeled. I don't care what you think about me, I'll be just fine. I don't care if your eyes ever see or you stay blind. I'm trying to be the light beneath the light, and I'm gonna try. And watch this and try. Democracy, and I'm gonna try. Turn into a technocracy. Before our very eyes, I'm gonna try. Government only exists, I'm gonna try, because we allow it to. I'm gonna try. In our minds. I'm gonna try.
I knew it was gonna do that. Yeah. All right, so I've been messing around with this OBS quite a bit, and that is definitely not the sound I'd like to be playing when I first come on. But we are working on it. I am trying to get all fancy and things like that, and it's a learning process, and I've got a long way to go. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? HTP in the house as always. Appreciate you. Broken Patriot, welcome. Gabriel Montoya says that it's now mandatory where he's at to have a mask. That sucks, bro. I'm sorry to hear that. And LOA, there was a cop at Food City giving tickets. Wow. That's messed up, bro. What's up, RG? How you doing? We're doing pretty good. This week has been an interesting week. Lots of things going on. I got my armor plates. We talked about that, I believe, a little bit last night. Setting up my plate carrier and all that. I got a lot of ideas, and all of them are bad, I'm sure. All of them are going to add a lot of weight. OBS sounds like IBS. Yeah, a little bit. What's up, Eastwind? How you doing? But I got a little bit of good news today. Today we went to the Army surplus because we wanted to get out of the house. And they don't make you wear a mask there. So that's a fun place to go. And so we went there, and we were going to get the little name tapes. And their machine broke after only doing one of them. So Riddle Girl got hers. And I got to wait until tomorrow for mine. But while we were there, we were looking around. I was thinking about getting some of the morale patches. But some of them weren't that great. There has been some that online that I was interested in. One is Ralph from The Simpsons with his finger up his nose saying professional booger hooker, which I thought was kind of funny because I'm pretty good at booger hooking it. Also, another one was COVID-19 veteran. It's like the other veteran patches, but COVID-19. I was thinking that would be kind of funny, but at the same time, I'm like, you'd have to really look at it. I don't really want to have people think, oh, yeah, he's a vet. You didn't get close enough and read it. You know what I mean? If you're coming into the chat, please hit the thumbs up. Well, thank you very much. You can hit the thumbs down, too. I appreciate thumbs downs just as much as I appreciate thumbs ups. But here's the kicker. After, the machine broke, I couldn't get my name tape or whatever they call that. We were heading on our way home. I get a call. From my from Mr. Silencer. He's a local guy here in Arizona that I go to. And guess what I get to pick up on Friday? Yeah! Well, if you haven't guessed, I've talked about it before, but my suppressor is now technically able to be picked up. I have to wait till Friday because he's closed tomorrow for some reason. It's weird. But I am very excited about that. All right, so as you saw from the title, there is a mayor who says that we will err on the side of freedom. Oh my goodness. And where? Oh, I know you all want to move there right freaking now. Where is this place at? Well, it would be in Eager, Arizona. Eager, Arizona. It's almost in New Mexico. There it is right there. I don't know if you guys have heard this story yet or not, but I just heard of it today. And it's already, COVID-19 survivor. I think they make one of those. I just heard of this story today, but apparently this is a little bit old because this was going towards the July 4th holiday. The mayor says Eager will err on the side of freedom. This is a letter to the citizens of Eager from the mayor. Over the past several weeks, I have been asked repeatedly what the town of Eager plans to do about C-19 mask, visitors, riots, etc. It's somewhat alarming how many expect and almost invite a more drastic infringement on their freedoms. My response from the onset of C-19 pandemic has been that we will err on the side of freedom. When riots began to riddle the country and our governor took that drastic measure of a statewide curfew, again, I maintain that we err on the side of freedom. I have received numerous phone calls from reporters citizens, visitors, and complete strangers to our area asking why the town of Eagar has not canceled upcoming rodeos and our 4th of July parade. Again, my response is that Eagar will err on the side of freedom. What authority does the town of Eagar or any other state or local government have to infringe on the rights of healthy, law-abiding citizens? It bears mentioning that I am not one that believes that the C virus is fake or any of a dozen other theories dismantling across the internet or disseminating across the internet. C19 is a real virus, and that has unfortunately drastically negative effects on the health of some of the individuals that contract it. Just as with the flu virus, some of those individuals will die. I do not make light of the fact that its effects on individuals and families throughout the globe have been and will continue to be life-changing or life-ending. There are many individuals that risk serious peril if they were to contract the virus. Those individuals should take extreme precautions. I certainly would if I were in their position. In fact, I would invite those individuals to please stay home and not attend our festivities. But I don't ask that the government require it of healthy, law-abiding citizens. If an individual is fearful of contracting the virus, I would invite that individual take every precaution they deem fit, including wearing a mask, gloves, or a variety of other personal protective equipment. Those precautions do not harm me, and I will not judge you adversely for doing what you feel is best for you. But do not ask the government to require it of healthy, law-abiding citizens. As grim as C19 is portrayed under the most drastic scenario, I dare say that we are facing a much more serious pandemic here in America. We are currently in the midst of the nation's first political pandemic. And I agree. Never before in the history of America has ignorance, bigotry been more celebrated. Never before has our government been more eager and willing to take away freedoms from the citizenry. Never before has the citizenry been more willing to give them up. Benjamin Franklin warned that those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. I believe his warning is applicable today as it ever was. Some will say that these safety measures have not impacted individual liberty. To them I would quip Thomas Jefferson: if a nation expects to be ignorant and free in a state of civilization, it expects what never was and never will be. The right to move about freely in public is one of the cornerstones of American democracy. In a panicked frenzy created by the media, state and local governments trampled that right wholesale. History will not judge us kindly for our actions over the past several months. In closing, where would America be if our ancestors that pioneered the countryside, facing a mortality rate that would have made coronavirus look like a scratch, had simply just given up, turned back, or laid down, or died out of fear? Where would America be if its brave servicemen and women who throughout history have on occasion faced odds of almost certain death simply refused to fight out of fear? When did we stop being the land of the free, home of the brave? Take charge of your own life. Nobody owes you anything. The government has never been more ill-equipped to solve your problems, nor is it functioned to do so. This is America. Stand up and be somebody. Be brave and live free. Bryce Hamblin, Mayor of Eagar, Arizona. Damn! I usually don't read the whole things, but that one I'm pretty happy about. I don't live there. I've never been to Eagar. I don't even think I've heard of it before, and I've lived in Arizona most of my life. Road trip, says Broken Patriot. So I'm going to scroll up a little bit because I know the chat was lighting up a little bit. Need a pet. Okay, read that. I'm still waiting to see how they plan to deal with the kids this coming school season. It's not going to look good for our youth. And Trump did mention that he wants the schools to open up this fall. We'll see. Gabriel, new 5G Wi-Fi systems in place also. Yeah, probably. You can't stop. It's not going to, there's nothing we can do to stop 5G. It's coming, right? It just is. You cannot use 5G and go get yourself a flip phone. That's about the best you got, I think. Road Trip have several news stories where they seem to be leaning towards delaying the school year or converting to online learning. And the 5G cell towers have to be very near one another. Riddle, have you researched if this new 5G Wi-Fi systems were installed in schools while kids were for pandemic? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about the whole 5G. I know that it's bad in a lot of ways. Some of them are legit and some of are theories. And I haven't planned anything on that, so I'm not going to really go into it. Now, here's a story that I missed this weekend about the NFAC. I don't even know who they are. But apparently they are people of color with firearms who want to tear down statues. But also apparently they did it peacefully. And I am going to play most of this video, if not all of it. I'll skip his first part. But he especially near the end, he goes into what freedom really is. And if you're pro-freedom, you got to be pro-freedom for everybody, not just for those people that you agree with. So this is a very powerful video for me, one of his that I liked a lot.
Pandemic, any day with you Patriots, y'all rock. Thanks for all those thumbs up, y'all are fantastic. Now, I'm going to go through a couple things here, and some of the things I say here I'm a little nervous about because I don't want my words twisted, but I'm willing to put it out here for you. I do want to hear what you have to say about this. I'm going to talk about what I said at the beginning, the NFAC, kneeling during the anthem, and freedom and the Confederate flag. But the NFAC thing is going to take a couple different episodes. A lot of y'all have messaged in to say, hey, Johnny, what did you think about the NFAC? If you missed it last Saturday, you may have seen the pictures floating around. The Not Effing Around Coalition, they marched in Stone Mountain,
I don't know
Georgia.
anything about these people. I don't know anything about these people. I haven't looked it up at all. But I do know one thing. Our side doesn't have that. Where's the 3%ers? Where's the militia? Where's any group? Proud Boys. I don't give a fuck. Any patriotic group. Where are we? Look at that. It's crazy. It's a shame, to be honest.
They marched in Stone Mountain, Georgia, they being a pretty good size militia, all armed up, all dressed in the same color. And they were all people of color. Not that I care about that. I don't chase the identity politics thing too far. Y'all do a little bit too far down below. But
as I said, Quasar, I just learned about this.
The first thing you do is go identity, you've missed the major issue. Separate issue, different day. But people have asked me, what do you think about the NFAC and what they did on Saturday? They marched in Stone Mountain, Georgia, calling on their government to tear down or destroy the monument. You can't destroy the mountain. It's a mountain. But I guess they would, I don't know, sand it down or do something. That'd be a big undertaking. It's a monument to the Confederacy. I have climbed that mountain before. I've been there. I've watched a 4th of July fireworks presentation there. And that was long, decades ago. But they marched, and people want to know, hey, Johnny, what do you think? I thought a couple things about it. It's going to take, again, a couple episodes to get through this. I thought their main speaker up front, the DJ with the microphone, and he had the microphone and
real quick, HDP, are you talking about the Virginia rally in January where all the Patriots went and made sure that they were outside the fence where they weren't allowed to go into with firearms? That rally? That one? I mean, the one guy with the 50 BMG, he was pretty cool. We got a lot of people together, but everybody was a obeying follower. You think if they had a blocked off an area where these guys weren't allowed to go into to express their grievances, do you think they would have stopped? I don't know. So he says, they threatened a white man, or they threatened a white man in a van on the way, and at one point said, we will start doing to white people what white people do to blacks. Okay. All right. We call for the boogaloo all the time. It's the same thing. It's just a different side, right? Now, if they actually assault somebody or physically harm them in any way, then obviously that's bad. right? But as far as I know, and I don't know a lot, as I said, this is the first I'm hearing of this group, right? No violence. No violence took place. It was a peaceful protest. And they have every right to peacefully protest. I mean, that's First Amendment, if nothing else. And they're also got their Second Amendment. I would suggest to you, if you don't like it, that you get ready and you get your groups together and protest as well and have a counter protest. But I don't know if that'll happen, to be honest.
And the bullhorn, I thought he was well spoken, probably used a little bit more colorful language than I would have chosen, but he was well spoken. They seemed fairly organized. I do think two boxes here. One box, thumbs up, like huge thumbs up. They peacefully protested, they peacefully marched, they peacefully got their message out, and they were armed, and that was pretty cool as well. They did it the right way, and to that I absolutely say fantastic. I don't see that, to a degree, don't chase it too far, to a degree, much different than what went on in Virginia back in January. A little bit, let's just call it a little bit of overlap between those two protests, armed, peaceful, everything was fine, everybody went home at the end of the day, it was fine, sweep up the trash and let's move on. I thought it was good. Now, there's another part that I kind of disagree with. I really disagree with some of the things they said there. I'm going to chase that maybe tomorrow or the next day. I may save it till next week. I want to redo some more research, but part of what they were protesting about, I disagree with, but I do support their right to protest. Let's talk about freedom. People like talking about freedoms. Immediately people will say down in the comment section, well, America isn't all that free. Well, yeah, we kind of are. If you go to the Middle East, you'll see that there's other ways of being not free. Now here, we do have to live within some parameters. I think a lot.
All right, so let's get to a couple of the comments. They are asking for reparations. Okay. Nothing wrong with asking, right? They can demand it too, and most likely the people they vote for will agree to reparations. You know, I would like all my gun rights back and the abolishment of the NFA. Probably won't get it, but I sure would like it. I suggest you watch more video. They were not peaceful. I can, but as far as I know, there was no violence at this event. Now, as I said, I don't know. I haven't watched all of it. And made many vague threats. Dude, we make vague threats. The Boogaloo movement wearing a freaking Hawaiian shirt is a vague threat. I mean, going to the Bundy Ranch showdown, fully armed and kitted out, was a vague threat. Right? There's a lot of vague threats going on. It's not... You have the freedom of speech. And that goes for both ways. That goes for people you agree with and people you disagree with. I had a whole chat on the Green Dragon way back when, all right, about political correctness and freedom of speech. And at the end of the video, he goes into a little bit of that.
A lot of our freedoms have been taken away from us. Some understandably. Now, don't chase that. All I mean is this.
He's talking about don't
all I got
yell
to say about
fire.
That, but repeal it. Not enough freedom in that category. Free to drive wherever I want. Well, don't drive through the mall there, Blues Brothers. We have to operate in certain ways within certain parameters. We've got a lot of freedom here. Are we as free as we should be? No. Repeal the NFA. That's all I got to say about that, but repeal it. Not enough freedom in that category. But we do like to talk about freedoms, but sometimes we get things a little bit backwards. Now, there was an issue several years ago, y'all remember this, well publicized, that the individual baker, he did not want to bake a wedding cake.
Okay, so this story he's talking about where this guy had to bake a wedding cake for a gay couple, and how we were all up in arms against that, but then we were also saying how, because he should be able to do what he wants, but then YouTube should be able to do what they want because they're a private company. I disagree with that. I think that YouTube shouldn't be able to do whatever they want because they're getting federal aid or federal protection to be a public square. So that's a void of contract, right? Them going after conservatives is not a private... If they're a private business and they're a publisher, okay. But they consider themselves a public square. Therefore, it should be freedom of speech completely, no matter what you believe in on that.
Right on the right or whichever side you want to, put whichever
we got
box you want to
kneeling
put
with
me in.
Kaepernick.
Said, well, He's a private industry. He can do whatever he wants. And we understand very
All right.
out of context. Two different reasons. One, because of oppression. That guy's not oppressed. That guy's a multimillionaire.
Okay, Kaepernick.
But for me, standing up to the Fed, because the Fed should not tell us what
They
to
also
do.
want the U.S. to give them a piece
Now
of
we get
land.
to the
They
point
said
of
that they will
Confederate
accept
flags.
Texas
Recently,
or anything.
not the NFL, NASCAR said no more.
I want my own piece of land too. If they're handing out little pieces of the country, man, sign me up. I want my own autonomous zone. Who doesn't? Who doesn't want to have their own little slice of country of themselves? I'll make my own currency with my face on it and everything going. Right? Y'all, see, you talking some shit. Right? Freedom of speech for me, but not for thee. You can't go back and have it both ways, right? They either have the right to freedom of speech or they don't. Yeah, they're asking for a lot of shit. We'll see if they get it. I'm sure they'll get promised it for sure. Now, if they then get violent, then obviously things have got to happen. Will they happen? Who knows? We, as patriots, as 3%ers militia, they ain't going to do a damn thing. So if if anybody's going to do anything, it's the government, right? They want, give them a piece of land. Okay, let them leave, but they won't. I was always amused when people threaten to leave the U.S. Yeah, and they never do they?
Confederate flags.
Stinger
And
bucks.
several of y'all asked me what I thought about that. I did a brief video on it. They're a private company. If they don't want rebel flags in their events, that's fine. I think it is dumb for them to put their beliefs or their pretend beliefs, their corporate beliefs, over onto spectators. Let spectators do what they want as long as they're not hurting anybody else. They paid to get there. Let them wait. Let's just be thankful they're wearing a shirt. You know, I've been to those races. A lot of bubbas out there need to be put the shirt back on there, champ. But I do support them as a private industry and doing what they want to do. I think it's a dumb move, a really, really dumb move. And now we get to a fun part. Somebody messaged in the other day and said, Johnny, this is just terrible. You know, we should outlaw. They want to make laws and stuff and get the government involved. And I said, no, I think people should have Confederate flags. And then a guy messaged in and said, well, if you allowed Confederate flags, you'd probably also be pro having swastikas. Yeah.
Wow, thank you very much, Gabriel Montoya. A whole bunch of windows just popped up because we're trying. Hey, thank you very much. People better be ready to serve both sides, arm up. Just not one side is going to do the shooting. As I said, it's my opinion that our side, we got too many petty differences. We are divided. We are divided as a group, as a constitutional, freedom-loving group. We are divided. And because of that, I don't think we will do anything. I think we're all too worried about our jobs and our families and things like that to be bothered. Plus, we don't want to be seen as racist, because if you're going up against black people, then automatically you're going to be a racist individual doing that, right? So we can't have that. And to that I say, you're a racist just for being white. So why do you care what they think of you after that, right? But people better get ready. It's coming. I don't think our side's going to do anything, but I could be wrong. I've been told that I am wrong, and I hope I am wrong. RG Homestead wants a lot of things, but unless I don't pay for it, guess I'm not getting it. Yeah, I know, right? Will Stinger Bucks be backed by lead from a gun show? Yeah, the 80 pounds of lead. I could make lead coins. They'd probably give you cancer or something, but you never know. But thank you very much, Gabriel. That's very well appreciated. I really appreciate it. That's awesome. Thank you.
Damn. And they said, but...
All right, so this is the part that I really wanted to share. Right, and this is the topic that I brought up on the Green Dragons freedom of speech chat, and we use some language. We use some. Now I don't believe in it, and obviously, if you know me, then you know my character in that regard, and I definitely don't. I definitely don't think of anybody being lesser than anybody else because of their skin color. But at the same time, I do support people to have that opinion.
People should have Confederate flags. And then a guy messaged in and said, well, if you allowed Confederate flags, you'd probably also be pro having swastikas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. And they said, but you'd probably be pro KKK flags. Yeah, I am. Not for the reason you think. It's a piece of fabric, and if one is allowed, any of them should be allowed. I think at this point in my life, I understand we are free to do what we want. Freedom of expression. You are free to go stand on the corner and be a moron and wave a moronic flag all you want if you're not hurting children or kicking puppy dogs down the street or breaking major laws. You're able to do what you want. Yes, I support morons doing what morons want to do. I'm fine with that. It's a piece of fabric. It is freedom of expression. Years ago on one of our local college campuses, there was a guy that had white and power down his two arms. And it caused a little bit of a brouhaha. And it challenged me. They said, are we going to allow him to have that on his arms? And it turns out, yeah, he can do whatever he wants to. It's ink. I think the guy probably had a little bit of a checkered past. All I'm saying is this. Where are we at with our freedoms? Where are you at with your freedoms? Because we can't have it both ways. You can't have people holding up one flag and saying, this is amazing, and another one saying, that's illegal. Freedom should be for all.
There you go.
If you have people that are marching in Stone Mountain, I might disagree with part of their message. I may share that next week. I do disagree with part of their message, but I don't disagree with their right to be able to march peacefully. First Amendment, the freedom to assemble peacefully. And that matters. Where are you at with all of this stuff? Don't twist my words. I'm telling you right now. Don't twist them. I'm an American and I stand with all of this stuff.
So, yeah, I would agree with that quite a bit. Former Minneapolis officer attorney files motion to dismiss charges in Floyd case. That ain't happening. You want his shirt? Well, he sells that shirt on his website. Let's see, what is it? I'm sure he has a link in it. Oh, it's shallnotcomply.com, I believe it is. So I would check that out if you want that shirt. I'm not going to read a whole bunch of this because we all know it ain't going to happen. But the attorneys of one of the four former Minneapolis police officers charged in the death of George Floyd is asking the court to dismiss charges against his client. Former Officer Thomas Lane's attorney, Earl Gray, filed a motion Tuesday to dismiss the charges him. The motion asserts that there is a lack of evidence to establish probable cause for the charges, according to Fox 9. He is one of the four officers charged in the Floyd deaths in late May, which sparked sometimes violent demonstration, peaceful protests, arson attacks, and vandalism. Derek Chauvin, the officer seen in the video kneeling on Floyd's neck, was charged with second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter. Lane, meanwhile, was charged with aiding and abetting second-degree murder and aiding and abetting second-degree manslaughter in the case. So from the left is the guy who was kneeling, Alex King, and then Thomas Lane. So this fine gentleman right here. Yeah, you're not getting those charges dismissed. Good luck. So have you guys heard about the BLM painting people that painted over the Black Lives Matter mural? They're getting charged for a hate crime. The couple who attempted to paint over the city of Martinez Black Lives Matter mural on the 4th of July have been charged with a hate crime and 2 other misdemeanors by a controversial progressive prosecutor. Good luck. Nicole Anderson and David Nelson have been hit with 3 misdemeanor charges over their efforts to paint over the Black Lives Matter mural in front of Westfield Taylor Courthouse just hours after the original painting was completed with full blessing of the city of Martinez. A statement from Contra Costa District Attorney Dane Beckin's office revealed on Tuesday the pair could face up to a year in jail for their act of vandalism. They're being called vandals. But I guess, Black Lives Matter did get permission somehow from the government, or they just allowed it, I don't know. But it is funny that they're getting charged with vandalism and a hate crime. The Martinez residents were charged with the violation of civil rights, vandalism under $400, and possession of tools to commit vandalism or graffiti. Paint rollers. Police had sought... By the way, that was the dumbest thing, because they painted over the BLM with black paint, a lot blacker than the road. So basically you changed the letters from yellow to black, but it was still readable. Because you followed the lines exactly. You didn't go outside the lines at all. The Martinez residents were charged with violation of civil rights. Okay. Police had sought the public's help in identifying the duo after a video of Anderson taking a roller and a can of black paint to the bright yellow letters, while Nielsen declared the narratives of police brutality, racism, and oppression to be the leftist lies went viral. Keep this shit in fucking New York. This is not happening in my town. Anderson is heard shouting in the video as Nelson claims BLM itself racism. I wouldn't say that's much of a claim, but I mean, it's kind of obvious, but whatever. And challenges heckling onlookers, calling him a colonizer to learn history and read up on the Emancipation Proclamation, President Lincoln's decree that freed the slaves during the Civil War. Yeah. These guys are going to definitely get the maximum amount of time. If this is in California, holy crap. In the office statement, the DA Becken praised BLM as an important civil rights case that deserves all of our attention, insisting we must address the root and the byproduct of systematic racism in our country. She was elected to the post in 2017 despite the revelation that she had plagiarized large chunks of her application and had no prosecutorial experience. Wow. Maybe she won't win if she doesn't know how to do it. Buoyed by over $250,000 in campaign contributions from billionaire currency speculator George Soros, oh my goodness, who has made no secret of his desire to get progressive prosecutors appointed to the U.S. Yeah. I'll be watching that a little bit. Some good news next. We have the Supreme Court saying that employers don't have to pay for birth control if they claim religious exemption. Now, that's going to piss a lot of people off on the left, but I know a lot of you don't give a shit. The Supreme Court on Wednesday sided with the Trump administration on its efforts to allow employers who cite religious or moral objection to opt out of providing a no-cost birth control to women as required by Obamacare. That was including like nuns and nunneries and religious organizations. So it's pretty sad when mothers, of the Catholic Church have to provide birth control. I mean, that's like against their religion big time. Well, used to be. The Pope is all over the place nowadays. That's why I'm not Catholic. The court on Wednesday said 7-2, the administration acted properly when it made the change which lower courts had blocked. We hold today that the departments had the statutory authority to craft that exemption, as well as the compulsory issued morale exemption. We further hold that the rules promulgating these... Okay, we're not going to watch Poison Stinger Can't Read today. Anyway, there you go. Back to the bad news. A judge is upholding Cuomo's order to close gun stores during the pandemic. I didn't even know you could buy a firearm in New York. Especially one of these. I mean, look at these. Oof. Those are really... Is that a pistol grip? Look at this little thing. Wow. I thought California's gun laws were bad. Oop. Governor Andrew M. Cuomo policy that gun retailers are generally not essential business and could be ordered temporarily closed to help stop the spread of C-19 was upheld in a federal court ruling on Wednesday. The ruling by U.S. District Senior Judge Lawrence E. Kahn dismissed a lawsuit filed by a gun distributor alleging that Cuomo's closure order violated several aspects of the U.S. Constitution, particularly the Second Amendment bestowing the right to bear arms. The lawsuit against Cuomo was filed March 30th by Dark Storm Industries, a licensed ammunition and firearms seller based on Long Island. The company contended that Executive Order Cuomo issued in mid-March, which required the shutting of hundreds of categories of non-essential businesses and imposed fines for violating the order, illegally included gun sellers. After the order were issued, Darkstorm contacted the Cuomo administration, which relayed that the company could continue business with law enforcement and the military, but not civilians. As a result, Darkstorm closed for business, even as other gun sellers such as Walmart, which sells a far broader array of type of goods, were allowed to remain open. Yeah, it's funny here in Arizona we allowed Goodwill to stay open, but like shoe stores you couldn't go to. It's just funny. It depends on how friendly you are with the governor, because I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, we looked into that, and the guy who owns Goodwill here in Arizona is pretty buddy with the governor. Yeah. All right. In state, not city. Oh, you got the link there, real girl. Thank you. In state, not city. They mad about all the guns being sold. Okay, I get you. Never mind. In the city. Yeah, record numbers of guns. Last month, another record. Every month seems to be another record. And believe me, it's not me. I haven't bought a new gun since March. And even then, it wasn't anything real special. But a lot of people who are already buying guns, they know not to buy now. Because now is the time where you're going to have to overpay. Finding ammo is going to be hard. Although I got to find ammo tomorrow because I got my suppressor coming. So I got to get some subsonics so I can not hear how loud it is. So yesterday, or was it the day before, I forget, I did play a Tucker Carlson clip where he talked about how the left, and maybe I didn't play this part of it, but he basically was saying how the left doesn't like America. And they shouldn't even be able to run, because how can you lead the country when you despise the country? And now he's definitely getting ridiculed for it. You bought 2 Anderson lowers 2 days ago. 80%ers, I hope. You know what? We might actually have a giveaway for one. Can you grab one right there? If you're not into 80%ers and you're still buying your guns the old-fashioned way, I would suggest that maybe you look into something like this. This is an Anderson Arms lower, but it's technically a paperweight because the trigger pocket has not been milled out. They are trying to make this illegal. They're trying very hard. Get these now while you still can and pay cash. Just my opinion. Those things are pretty valuable. Thank you, Riddle Girl. $50, yeah. Anderson lowers are one of the less expensive. I'm not gonna say cheap because it's a fine product, but definitely one of the less expensive options you can go with when getting a lower. Yeah, usually right around. I mean, most lowers already milled out are like $100, and I don't know if yours are milled out yet or not, but I think for $50, well, $50. Yeah, maybe 80%ers. I think the ones that are fully done are a little bit more than that, but I could be wrong. Let me know. 80%er or fully done. So cable television's most popular political host, Tucker Carlson, says leaders of the Democratic Party should be disqualified from running the country because they despise it. Oh, obviously they despise it. We have another story right here with Ilhan Omar saying that we need to entirely dismantle the U.S. So, yeah, I agree with that. That led the Biden campaign to accuse Fox News Channel host on Tuesday of using hate speech, masquerading as journalism, and acting as an accomplice to President Donald Trump. Days after the report surfaced that some Republicans were discussing Carlson as a potential 2024 presidential contender. What? Wow, he delivered a monologue Monday night striking in its language and amplification of points made by Trump over the 4th of July weekend. Trump said at Mount Rushmore that The radical ideology attacking our country and protests that followed George Floyd's death in police custody would demolish both justice and society. Trump has been critical of efforts to remove monuments to the Confederacy, which has led to reevaluations of other historical figures. Yeah, all historical figures that were pro-America one way or the other. The Lenin statue in Seattle is still up. But yeah, that's the first I heard that he might be a 2024 candidate. I might get behind that. I mean, I don't agree with everything Tucker says, but I definitely agree with him more than I ever agreed with Trump, even back when I supported Trump. While some analysts, as well as many mainstream journalists in alleged objective reporting, including the Associated Press, called it divisive, Carlson praised it as the best speech the president has ever made in his life. Other people were saying that it was divisive? Yeah, I'm surprised by that. It's divisive if you want the country to burn, I guess. I mean, obviously, you'd be against it then. He played clips of cable TV hosts and analysts critical of some of the nation's actions historically. Carlson said that these people hate America. There's no longer any question about that. The leaders of today's Democratic Party despise this country, he said. They have said so. They continue to. That is shocking, but it's also disqualifying. We can't let them run this nation because they hate it. Imagine what they would do to it. I don't see anything that he said was wrong on that. Why is she still permitted in Congress? Why is she still permitted in this country? Ilhan Omar suggests that America's political and economic system should be entirely raised due to their oppressiveness to minorities of color. Yeah, the country that took you in and put you in charge of anything for some odd reason is the worst country ever and should be dismantled. We can't stop at criminal justice reform or policing reform, Omar said Tuesday during an outdoor press conference. We are not merely fighting to tear down the system of oppression in the criminal justice system, she continued. We are fighting to tear down systems of oppression that exist in housing, in education, in healthcare, in employment, and the air we breathe. Apparently, the air we breathe is racist. Somehow. True reform means that the government must guarantee homes for all and pass the Green New Deal because we know that environmental racism is real. What? Environmental racism. And free housing for everybody? Am I getting that right? Guaranteed homes for all. So if you're homeless, you're going to get a house. Government's going to pay for it. As long as our economy and political systems prioritize profit without considering who is profiting, who is being shut out, we will perpetuate this inequality, Omar continued. So we cannot stop at the criminal justice system. We must begin the work of dismantling the whole system of oppression wherever we find it, erasing America's history and starting over because it's too racist to save. Omar's comments immediately drew criticism from Republicans who reminded Omar that her duty is to protect the Constitution and the system it creates. Yeah. Did you or did you not raise your hand and swear to uphold the Constitution? I mean, so did Nancy Pelosi. So did a bunch of people that don't. Maxine Waters? Oh my God. Right? But I mean, she's blatantly, at least they try to pussyfoot around it. I don't know. And apparently Biden is pissing off the left a little bit. Democrat presidential candidate Joe Biden has promised voters that he will hold the center if elected. Meaning he will work with the Republicans and when it is necessary. Leftists, however, are warning Biden that they will abandon him soon should he choose to compromise. Biden is transparently taking a bet to win over a group of anti-Trump Republicans, but at the expense of what? Wondered activist Naomi Konst, who endorsed Bernie Sanders, potentially losing some of the largest movements in history. What Biden needs, according to Const, is an enthusiastic voter base. He won't get that from moderate voters, but he could get that from a progressive left, she said. His excitement is extremely low, and that should always be alarming for candidates. Kant said it's the Hillary Clinton strategy all over again. Leftists are also arguing that they don't want another 4 years of Obama-like administration. Former President Obama tried to work with Republicans, claimed Sorka, the communicator directors of the Democracy for America. And conservatives would beg to differ. That's right, Obama never worked with the Republicans. As with the two midterm elections in which Obama posted historic losses both in Congress and at the state level. That's the only reason he didn't get shit done. But they don't give him any kind of leeway with that. Like, well, it doesn't matter. You should have still been able to do it. You're president. You're not freaking the great czar, right? President doesn't have all the power. You can write it with the pen, sure. But the next president can come in and take that all away. And Trump sure as hell did on a lot of it. So Trump said that despite Obama's auto-pin approach of circumventing the legislation with executive orders, the left lost more than it gained. It sure did. As soon as Trump came in office, all that shit was gone. And lastly, a little bit of a story. How Virginia plans to let people ban themselves from buying guns. That's right. If you think you're a danger to society, you can request to be put on a do not buy list. And then if you go and try to buy a firearm, you'll be denied. In fact, it goes on the NICS check. There's a lot of shit going on in Virginia. This is not one that's on a lot of people's radars. Because a lot of people are like, okay, whatever. I mean, you want to do that, do it. But I thought it was an interesting story, and not very many people are covering. It was Frederick Varr's own experience with bipolar disorder and suicidal thoughts that first got him interested in the idea of letting people ban themselves from buying guns. To him, the idea of voluntary do not sell list as a preemptive option for people worried about what they might do in a darker moment of irrationality seemed like a common sense, but would anyone use it? To answer that question, Varr's, a law professor at the University of Alabama, and a team of researchers surveyed 200 psychiatric patients. That 2016 study, published in the peer-reviewed Journal of American Association of Sociology? Wow, didn't know they made a suicidology. Found that 46% of respondents said they would sign up for a do not sell list. Wow. So just under 100 people out of the 200 said, yeah, they would sign up for that. Yeah, I mean, I'm all for it, I guess. I think you're going to screw yourself in the long run, but that's just me. I mean, if you're never going to get better, okay. But I mean, the whole reason that you're going to get psychology is to get better, isn't it? That was a moment where for me, it went from kind of an academic idea into realizing that if you could get a lot of people signing up, you really could have a chance to save a lot of lives, Varr said in an interview. In Virginia, it's not just an idea anymore. This year, the Democratic-led General Assembly passed legislation creating the Virginia Voluntary Do Not Sell Firearm List, making Virginia one of the first states to put Varr's concept into practice. Because the legislation had delayed effective date, the list, which will tie into the existing background check system, is scheduled to be up and running in the summer of 2021. So next year. The bill didn't receive as much attention as other high-profile gun restrictions that took effect last week, like universal background checks, the one handgun a month policy, and red flag laws that authorizes temporary seizing of guns from troubled people. But some supporters see it as unique, pitching it as a libertarian-friendly way to address a form of gun violence that is far more common than mass shootings that make worldwide headlines. That's right, because a lot of the gun deaths, you know, when they tout the number, oh, this many gun violent deaths, This is how many gun violences we had this year. And it's always such a small number. But they try to make it really big. They make it as big as they can. But in comparison to car accidents, it's a drop in the bucket. In comparison to hammer deaths, it's a drop in the bucket. And most of the deaths that come from gun violence is suicides, right? Nearly 2/3 of Virginia gun deaths are suicides, right? 2/3, more than half. To Virginia Department of Health data presented to policymakers last year, from 2007 to 2018, more than 56% of suicides involved guns. In 2018, there were 674 gun-related suicides in the state. The state data shows most firearm suicide involved handguns, and white men are more likely to be victims of gun suicide than other democratic groups. Are you a victim if you kill yourself? I don't know. The new law will allow anyone over 18 to add themselves to the list, designed to keep confidential by filling out a form with a copy of their photo ID and mailing it or delivering it to the Virginia State Police. Once a person is on the list, it will be against the law for them to purchase or possess a gun and unlawful for anyone knowingly selling or giving a gun to a person on the list. If someone on the list changes their mind, they can be removed after waiting 21 days. So I guess it's not a final thing. Like, you can get off of it. I'm kind of surprised by that one. I would think that would be something that you wouldn't be able to do. The concept has drawn comparisons to voluntary gambling exclusion programs designed to let people ban themselves from casinos if they feel they're losing control. So yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I'm all for it. Okay, I want to buy an AK-47, says Gabriel. Yeah, they're nice. I have one. I have had a few over the years, and I keep selling them. I don't know why, but like the first one I ever bought was an underfolder. Some people love them, some people hate them. I like mine. In fact, it's the nicest AK I've ever owned, and I've owned like 3 or 4 of them now. But it's smooth. The action's real nice. It shoots like a dream. Everything's perfect with that AK, except for it's an underfolder, right? So it's not completely comfortable. But the other AKs, yeah, I've gotten rid of, unfortunately. That or a shotgun for home defense. Shotgun, you can't go wrong with shotgun. You could do pump shotgun. I personally have a Comrade 12, which is a semi-auto magazine fed, and it's a shorter firearm. It's, I think, 12-inch barrel length, so it's under the 18 legal amount because it's not technically a shotgun. Sorry, I shouldn't have said it was a shotgun because it's not. It's a firearm that is chambered in 12 gauge. There's some legal reasons behind that, but it's got a pistol brace on it and a forward grip and a 12-inch barrel. Total badass. I have a video on it if you're interested in watching that. Tucker needs to go to Congress first. Well, maybe. He talks a good game. He talks a good game. As of right now, if he ran for president, he'd have my vote. That's all I'm saying. So what if you sign up for it and then change your mind? Well, you got 21 days. I guess you have to wait 21 days before they'll take you off. I'm on board since it's a voluntary. Yeah, me too. And you love your SKS? I'd never... That's the one thing I haven't had, an SKS. I wouldn't mind trying out an SKS. There's a few other, Russian firearms that I wouldn't mind dabbling in. But I get all excited with the 80% lowers. Like my 300 Black pistol build is an 80% F1 firearm build. Absolutely sick. Sick build. That's the one the suppressor is going into. And yeah, I'm very much... you guys might see a video this weekend. I'm just saying. I do plan on buying some subsonic ammo, and I just got to find a place that's not a gun range where I can go shoot it, because I really don't want to go to the gun range because, well, then what's the point of taking a suppressor to the gun range where everybody else doesn't have a suppressor, right? And I can't go out to the desert, technically, at least not in this area, not in Maricopa County, because the fire restrictions. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll go out and do that road trip to Eager, Arizona. Maybe. Sounds badass. I hope it is. Man. Oh, you talking about the firearm? Did you go? Hold on a sec. I'll actually show it off just a little bit. We're not supposed to show things off on live, but whatever. I'm gonna get banned off of YouTube pretty sooner than later, and if I do, I'll probably be going over to DLive or BitChute. BitChute for videos, DLive for live streams. I think I do have an account at least at DLive. I'm not sure about BitChute yet, but so here it is. It's pretty much all skeletonized. Most of it is F1 firearms. The lower is F1 firearms, skeletonized, as you can see the magazine through the mag well. Obviously, I have a Phase 5 tactical lever there. Here's the front rail. The front rail is actually a Spike's tactical rail, and I had that before anything else. Here is just a flash can for right now, but it's taking the place of what the suppressor will be on Friday, and it is the exact same diameter as the suppressor, so I know it'll fit under the rail. So you can see that the barrel is actually tucked into the rail somewhat, so it'll give it a nice clean look. In my opinion, I like that look. I got these diamond head iron sights for a really good price. I got them for under, I think it was under $100. And these are the aluminum ones, which are like 200 bucks. But they were having like a Black Friday in August deal last year or something. It was real random, and they were on sale. This is my Hollow Sun. I forget the make and model of it, but it is the green dot. And you can't really see it there, but they have a red version and a green version. Can you move, little girl, so that I don't point this at you? There's this side. Yeah, so that's a pistol brace, not a stock. Strike Industries buffer tube barrel nut, or not barrel nut, castle nut, sorry. This is a Phase 5 ambidextrous safety. It's got a Timney trigger in it. The Timney trigger I've had before in a different build, but it was skeletonized. It's a 3-pound trigger, and I really liked it, so I decided to throw it into this build. I believe this is Strike Industries' little mag release extra thing. Yeah. So there you go. Right here, this little dangly bit is for my light, which is on my shotgun right now, because the shotgun is the go-to firearm right now. Because this thing is loud as all hell without a suppressor on it. And I would not want to shoot this in the house as it's configured right now. So I took the light off of this and put it on the 12 gauge. Depending on how it goes this weekend, I might now use this for home defense if necessary, just because that was the whole reason I got the suppressor. But the suppressor is a 30 cal can, so it'll go on anything 30 cal. It'll go on an AR-10. It'll go on a 300 Win Mag. It'll go on a whole bunch of stuff. If you're curious, the barrel, I think, is an 8.2 Ballistic Advantage Hansen profile barrel. I think altogether, and I put this together over a couple years. But if I were to add it all up, I think it's right around $2,600 to $2,800. So yeah, it's not cheap, and I can't afford that kind of stuff. So that's why I build it myself and buy a little bit at a time. In fact, the bolt carrier group on that, if you saw it was all silvery. That is an F1 firearm bolt carrier group with a special coating. This damn thing was $300 for just the bolt carrier group. Oh my goodness, it was expensive. That's sick. Looks lightweight. It's not really that lightweight, to be honest. The barrel, a lot of the parts are lightweight, right? But the barrel is not. Even though it's all skeletonized, it's still a why can't I think of it? It's not forged. It's billet. Sorry, it's all billet. So it's a little bit heavier because of that. I'm a Spikes fiend. Let me know if you would sell that Spikes handguard. I actually want to, dude. It's a bar rail. If you know the bar rail, I'm thinking about it. Because the reason why I kind of don't like it is even though it is skeletonized, it's not that skeletonized. I don't know. Maybe it's because I have a black barrel in it. But it just looks like, you know, so much skeletonization right here and kind of lacking in the front. So I have been thinking about getting rid of that rail and getting a different one. I just need to get one that will still fit a suppressor underneath it. So anyway, that's all I got for you guys tonight. Thank you very much for watching. I will be on tomorrow night as well. Friday, I will probably have something to show y'all. And Saturday, I'll probably be making a video, which means it'll probably be live on Sunday. So be expecting a video from me on Sunday. There are links in the descriptions below. If you're interested, check those out. The first link is to the music video that plays before I start my live stream, Adam Lawson's Light Beneath the Lie. The next link is to Irish USMC Vets GoFundMe, where he's trying to have veterans come and have a place to stay and learn a new trade, like blacksmithing and gardening. And the last one is for Project Recover, which is an organization who goes out and tries to find lost service members who were lost in battle, and then return their remains to their relatives. So all great charities or organizations to donate money to if you have money to donate. Let's see, what else? If you like the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you dislike it, you can go ahead and give it a thumbs down. That's okay. If you're not already subscribed, you can consider doing so. As you know, if you like this kind of content, I would definitely suggest it. It's free. And if you really want to know when I'm on live or when a video comes up, you can always hit that bell notification, and that'll give you a little email alert when I go live. Thank you, Broken Patriot. I appreciate every thumbs up, bro. Let's see. Anyway, until next time, make sure you keep your family close. Watch out for the government. They're definitely coming to take your freedoms. And try to live free as much as possible in this really not very free nation anymore. With that, thank you very much for watching. I'm Poison Stinger. I'll check you out next time.